sickle cell is one very complicated illness that you can't really explain. And like I said in the previous video, sickle cell makes you fall sick from falling sick. You fell sick, let's say you have malaria or you had malaria. You were admitted in the hospital, you were receiving treatment for a long time, and the crisis subsided, right? And you are being discharged to go home and fully recover, because you really can't fully recover in the hospital. Most times you just want to leave the hospital. So if you went to the hospital with a pain score of 10 over 10, you can be discharged with your pain score at 2 over 10. Explaining how the pain is before, during, and after is going to be a bit difficult to give you a proper explanation towards that. And I tried as much as possible to do a lot of research and recreate some of the pains we go through. I think if you truly want to know or feel how a portion, just a tiny portion of sickle cell crisis feels like, you could get a rubber band, right? You tie it on your hand as tight as possible till the rubber band can't go no more, right? Then you get a thread that you sew, yes, needle and thread, you make clothes with. You continuously tie it still on that spot, and then you leave it for some minutes, right? Let's say 10 minutes. If you can't get up to 10 minutes, please cut it off at 1 minute, because that's going to hurt you a lot. So once you've left it for a couple of minutes, yeah, pick a scissors and cut it immediately. When you cut it, the pain or the sensation you feel, you know, at that point, I'm sure your finger should be a bit numb and cold, right? For a split second, imagine that pain you feel there on your joints, all your joints, your hands, your wrist, your shoulder, your elbow, your knee, your waist, your back, your neck. Now imagine all this going on at the same time. Now this is just a portion of the kind of pain. Another example is, if you can pick a hammer, go ahead, pick a hammer and hit your ankle with it. The pain you feel is still the same pain we feel throughout the bone. But guess what? It seems to be like an invisible construction company decided to use your body as landmine, or they're trying to make way through your body, I don't know. But that's how you would feel. The same sensation you feel when you are hurt, right? Recreate that, especially if you play basketball and you dislocate this thumb, or you're just doing something casual and you dislocate this. That pain you feel on this thumb throughout the period when that finger is dislocated, recreate that in your head with all your joints, all your muscles, every part of your body. That's kind of the way it hurts. And within 8 months of this year, 8 months of 2020, I took over 10,000 to 15,000 injections. I am not exaggerating. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but I would like you to take a look and see the volume of pain injections that my body took in within a very short period of time. So I took this volume of injections and medication in 8 months. Why? Because I was falling into crisis very frequent, right? Even though in quotes I was resting, because they said if I rest more, I fall sick less. That's a bloody lie, come on. I lay in my bed in January. I found myself in the hospital on the 5th of January. I left the hospital almost towards the 27th of January. In February, I was back again in the hospital, this time a different hospital, because I had to leave the other hospital because they wanted to literally kill me before my time. They were giving me, the hospital actually introduced my body to morphine. Now, morphine is the highest pain injection that I know of. That is what the military use when they have gunshot wounds and very severe cases. And sometimes it's what they use when they do operations and all. Likewise, the other injections. But morphine is like on the highest grade of opioids. Opioids is basically a very high level of painkillers. So my body was introduced to morphine in January, and I really did not understand why they would go to that extent, because I mean, I'm on a level below morphine, and now you've brought me to the level of morphine. What next? So I had a lot of disagreements with the doctors, and that forced me to change hospital. So I changed my hospital, and then my regular medications was now brought back because they had to go through my medical reports. It still wasn't enough, right? It wasn't enough because the pains were stronger, a lot more. They were no longer bearable. Yeah, and you're in so much pain and crisis. It feels like all your bones are paining you and hurting you, and it now feels like somebody who weighs up to like 120 kg sits on your chest, and then another person presses your stomach down. So you're literally fighting for air. Like that's like a constant rhythm you go with. Your heart is beating like almost like this, and as it's doing this, it's hitting you with pains. If you move slightly, it goes faster with more pain. So I just can't explain. I can't give you a specific example of what the pain is like. Some of these pains are just totally unbearable for you to even be able to hold a phone. But I still tried to do that for the sake of this documentary. The volume of pain that I go through on each crisis, each time I visit the hospital, is, if we are to compare, my own comparison is like 3 women in labor. All that pain on one person for a long period of time. Once you get out of this very bad critical stage, your heart beats, everything is just off. Once you get out of this, now the body begins to fight back. You've taken so much injections for pain, so much injections to just take away the pain for that moment. A 10/10 pain score with your injections, the pain drops to a 7 or a 6.5 down to maybe a 6, and then it goes back to a 10, and then you're crying and begging for painkillers, and the doctors are telling you it is not yet time for another pain injection. It is not yet time for your next dose. You have to take this dose every 6 hours. You have to take this dose every 3 hours. So it's really frustrating, because if you have to wait for 6 hours, so what the pain had cured within that first 6 hours, like the first 2 hours the pain reduces to a 6, right? Then the remaining 4 hours it then increases to a 12, much more than how you even got to the hospital, right? So the first few hours of your crisis, we like to call that the emergency stage. Now, at that emergency stage, your whole body is hurting you so bad, so rapidly. Your waist, your back, your neck, your everything. You can't breathe. You are holding your breath, because each time you breathe in or breathe out, it's a banging pain, and you are so much in this pain that, God, just do anything you want, just take away this pain right now. That's basically what you have in your mind. And then you're getting to the hospital. They are rushing, they're putting you down, you're being on a drip and in these injections. And then the injections bring it down to a 6, and then they're waiting for a longer time before they give you the next dose, and then the pain increases from that 6 to a 12 over 10. Now, another reason why you see so much injections is early this year, in January, I was diagnosed with gallbladder stone, that I have multiple gallbladder stones, and it needs to be taken out via a surgery. The gallbladder stone creates or triggers the crisis, and also triggers its own pain. Now, one of the pain of gallbladder is very, very sharp and piercing. So if you try to yawn, it's like you were stabbed just below your rib cage, just below the first rib, right? You were stabbed here. So you are yawning with style. You try to laugh, you're laughing with style. But with the help of the workouts and lifestyle changes I have made, it hasn't been as bad as it used to be. It's not as painful as what it regularly was when I would just be sick and go into crisis in the hospital. So there has been a lot of improvement, but yes, I still feel that pain. So when you laugh, when you talk for long, it begins to pain you, it begins to hurt you. When you leave it for long, it begins to hurt you, it begins to pain you, it begins to give you some level of discomfort. The post side effects of your crisis. Now, the post side of you falling sick for falling sick. Places that you have serious pain. Let's use this wrist as a case study. You've been having pain on this wrist for a while, right? And it took you to the hospital in crisis. And while you're in crisis, your caregivers, mom, dad, sisters, siblings, friends, bought the balm, the hot balm, like Rob or Aboniki, right? And then they apply it on that place and they keep massaging it, right? They keep massaging it. If you notice, that pain, that particular pain they kept on massaging ends up staying a whole lot longer than every other pain that you had felt in your body. You have given the body a good reason why it should keep the pain on you. I don't know the science, I don't know the logic behind that, but each time an affected place that is hurting is being massaged repeatedly, that place tends to keep a pain longer. It will be healing at that moment when you're massaging it, you feel alright, but then when you touch it the next time, it's a lot worse. Like this small finger touching it seems like a hammer that has just been, a sledgehammer, not just a hammer, that has been hit there, and it becomes really painful. So that pain can last for weeks, almost a month, if not more than a month. And the second thing is, now with the volume of injections, okay, let's take a look at the injections I had shown you, all the used valves, all the empty packs, like all these things literally entered my body in 8 months. Yeah. Now use this as an example. One of the very bad side effects of painkillers is that it takes away some level of empathy from you. It takes away some level of self-awareness. A lot of sickle cell warriors and survivors are being stigmatized every day, and it's now very difficult keeping people around them, especially friends. It messes with your psychology, it messes with your mindset, right? So now, each time you fall into crisis, you literally have to suspend everything that your life is doing until you recover. And that can take weeks, and those precious weeks that is taking is either that school is going on, the school is not going to wait for you, the job is going on, the job is no longer going to wait for you, you probably will be fired, maybe, or demoted. So once you fall sick like that, your world has just literally been placed on hold till you recover. I mean, I had to go to a lot of schools growing up. I'm talking about from primary to secondary level. Each time I had to change my school because I can't participate in inter-house sports. If it's a school where they beat kids and then they mistakenly beat me, my dad would automatically take me out of the school, move me into another school, let them know who I am and how my health is. They begin to give me special treatments and then sidelining me in a lot of activities. So I was sitting on the bench most of the time and watching, and then I was getting a lot of hatred because I was exempted from a lot. Maybe they're punishing the whole class. I would not be among, I would be told to sit down. They are telling whatever the situation is, I was now exempted, and then it made a lot of people hate me. And that made me keep to myself. And each time I fall sick, I tend to keep to myself. I don't try to let anybody know that this is what is happening to me. And in that other person's mind, it's like I'm proud, or I am just a snob. I just don't want to answer you, or I just don't want to do anything. Yeah, that might be correct. I probably do not want to answer you because my brain and my head is just trying to detox from all the toxic and very, very heavy medications I've been on, right? So one of these injections, this is one of my painkillers, one of these, just one alone of these should be able to knock you out for 7 hours, right? But one of these does not really do anything to me. It doesn't really cure my pain. It doesn't do anything. I don't even feel like I have taken something because of the volume and level of pain I have been going through. So I hope that this video has been able to share more light on how the sickle cell pain is and why people do what they do who are warriors, and more especially and most importantly, why you need to know your genotype. See, I can't overemphasize this here. I can't overemphasize why you really need to know your genotype, why you need to go to the hospital to get this test done, why you need to ask your partner what his genotype or her genotype is, why you need to do all this before you get married or even think of the idea of getting married or being in a relationship with this person. You need to know the opposite sex's genotype status, because that's the only way that would keep sickle cell out of the community and reduce the birth rate of sickle cell warriors. Shout out to a lot of sickle cell warriors who are doing so great, who are doing amazingly well. You're just hustling, legit hustling on their own. Shout out to the other ones who have probably not even found out that they're sickle cell warriors. Yes, it does happen, and sickle cell sometimes messes with the mindset. So once you tell yourself you are sick, you fall sick. Once you tell yourself that you are weak, you become weak. Once you tell yourself that you might die, you just might freaking die. You wanna die? Once you tell yourself that you are a loser, I deserve some self-pity, I deserve to be pitied, you know, I'm a sickle cell. Once you begin to do all that, man, I'm telling you the fact that that's how you're going to be, that's how you're going to see yourself, and you're probably just going to be like that till, right? So I hope this video has been able to inspire you, and also if you're a warrior out there, I want you to keep your heads up, keep the hustling going, keep the vision, keep your vision at the back and the front of your mind. If you fall sick, just keep the vision here. And that is what is going to see you through the process. That is what will see you through the process. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is the right time to do so. Please hit that subscribe button down and turn on your notification bells, because I'll be posting videos weekly and they're all going to be exciting. I mean, we've started some really good journey. It's a really amazing journey. If you can see, she's coming out well, you know. I'm getting the body back and I'm living a healthier and better life. So if you have questions for me, if you have comments, please drop them down below. If you think that this video needs to inspire somebody to go and check their genotype, please kindly forward or DM this link to the person. If you feel that this is going to get somebody off the bed who is a warrior, who needs to get off the bed and then fight the illness, please share this video with the person. This video was brought to you by Fruit Custard, the undiluted brand for your all-round fruit cruise.